However, if it turned out that we looked across the entire genome and systematically I was more like the Neanderthal than you, that would be really hard to explain as a function of us both being equally related to Neanderthals. One of us, me presumably, would be more like the Neanderthal because I'm more related to the Neanderthal, because I have Neanderthal ancestors. And in fact, when we look at human populations, that's exactly what we find. More often than not, people who live outside of Africa in pre-Columbian times are like the Neanderthal, and people who live inside of Africa are less like the Neanderthal. Both Africans and non-Africans share Neanderthal-like characteristics, but the non-Africans share them about 5% more. That's the signature of Neanderthal contribution to those populations. It's that it's systematic and across the genome that enables us to understand that it's a contribution. However, that doesn't tell us exactly what it is. You might imagine that if I said, well, I'm 3% Neanderthal, that I would know that, well, it's because of this gene and this other gene. In fact, we don't know that. I know which ones I share with Neanderthals, but I don't know which ones I got from Neanderthals. I just know that I got 3% of them because I have 3% more than most sub-Saharan Africans do. Now, in my lab, we've been studying this more systematically with larger samples of people. If you look across lots and lots of people, and the shared with Neanderthal scale goes up the chart here, Africans have less, Europeans have more, and Asians have a little bit more than Europeans. Today, East Asians are more Neanderthal-like than Europeans are. If we look at mixed populations, so African Americans who are ancestrally a mixture of Africans and some European and some Native American, you'll see they're a little bit more Neanderthal-like than Africans, with a lot of dispersion among them. Likewise in Puerto Rico, similar population mix, but with more European and Native American, less African. You'll see they're also intermediate. And it actually varies within regions. So in Southern Europe, you get a little bit more. In Northern Europe, you get a little bit less. Neanderthal ancestry is something of a tracer of population history. We can now use this to understand where people came from. Europe has been recolonized substantially since the invention of agriculture, a couple of times. And that's reflected in the proportion of Neanderthal that you see in these people. So this has changed in the course of European history. Today's Europeans are not yesterday's Europeans. Things have been changing.